Philip, while we're waiting for everyone else to get on, you should go around and get everyone to quickly introduce themselves to this group, and then they'll reintroduce themselves when the rest of the gang is on. But
that's a great idea. Monica, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself to everyone. Monica? Monica, can you hear? I think people are now logging in now. Yeah, it's all happening.
Hi.
Monica, can you hear us?
Yeah, yes, not very well though.
People are slowly connecting on. Slowly connecting. Cindy, I gave Janica one of your key core tools that make yourself memorable.
Absolutely.
And Carol,
she looks pretty memorable to me, actually.
Red.
and Carol as well. Carol's got this fabulous, I know it's like this fabulous halo around you, Carol, that you look like catapulted in. It's wonderful.
This just may be my signature thing.
Absolutely. Make it your own.
What do they say in marketing? If you can't fix it, feature it. So
that's it. You got it in one.
Well said.
Brilliant. I love it. I love it. So people are logging in. Monica, what I was saying is, while we had the opportunity before we got going, is for you, if you wanted to, you're very welcome to introduce yourself to ladies we're speaking to.
Of course. I'm based in Madrid in Spain, although I'm on holidays at the moment. So that's why my connection is not the best. But I work for a multinational, a North American multinational IT company. I've been working there for around 20 years. And I normally organize events at a worldwide level. And I've been interested in etiquette and modern manners since I cannot even remember, forever. And I think the British School of Etiquette is the best place to continue getting education, and I would love to spread all my knowledge once I acquire it properly.
Yeah, and Monica, Janica, and Carol, and Maria, and Cindy have all taken the train in their different timings and of various, Cindy and I have worked together for a very long time, but Cindy initially did train the trainer about 2.5 years ago. Maria joined us about 2.5 years ago. Carol and Janica are more recent and have had the experience with, like you did with the Polished Professional, had the experience with doing the Zoom coaching and training. Yeah, so excellent. So people are coming on. There's Eric. How are you, Eric? No. Eric, can you hear me? No. Cindy, as you say, dialing in from all over the world can be quite a challenge.
It can. When I'm running those corporate trainings, and I've got 60 of them all logging in crazy different ways, but thankfully from those corporate platforms, normally we have enough fiber optic cabling running around that everybody can be open. But as Monica said, it kind of depends on the broadband you've got, depending where you're logging in from. So looks like everybody's getting here though.
I think so. We've got, including us, 12, 13 people coming on board. So I just would love everyone just to be slightly patient, and I want to thank everyone who have logged on thus far to just thank you so much for your incredible time and energy that you're spending with the British School of Etiquette and with me and with the rest of the group that are joining today.
Water, okay.
And I really would love to also love to just share with all of you that today is very relaxed in the sense that I would love input from people, get questions going. I'm going to be doing a brief introduction shortly, and then everyone has the opportunity to speak to past students who've very kindly given up their time to join us today. So I will allow you in on that shortly. We've got the office dog who makes an appearance.
Oh,
Oh my
So
goodness.
Coco makes the appearance every now and then. Yeah, there you go. Out you go. Out you go. Yeah, Mum's just come home, so she's scratching at the door. We've
Hey,
got.
Philip, just before you're ready to do your intro, why don't, I know you said Orsa had received some questions people had sent in. Why don't you run through a couple of those generic ones which can be repeated, but it just gives the people that are on board some information. Does that make sense, or is that a little bit too
Not at all.
preemptive?
No, not at all. Actually, we've had some great questions come in from various people. And I'd love to start off with, well, I definitely would love, Cindy, this one came in from a past student who spent some time with you. Cindy, given you do a lot of corporate training, do you see any, is it applicable for etiquette in the COVID-19 world? What would you say to that?
Oh, actually, that's a great question. And it's really funny because when you and I used to talk, etiquette was always seen as a nice to have, not a need to have. And I think COVID-19 has blown that wide open. If you're just watching what's happening in the business world and the political world, people working from home, not understanding how to communicate, most of the requests I'm getting, oh, somebody forgot to turn their mic off. You might want to, yeah. Most of the requests I get, Philip, are to increase how do they communicate from home? How do they hold meetings from home? So anybody that's going into the etiquette space, as Monica mentioned, there's just a huge market here waiting to be tapped. And I love the leadership role that the British School of Etiquette has taken in that, because I think that only goes one way. That market gets bigger and bigger.
No, that's a great answer. And Cindy, through your, so ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, Cindy has not only done Train the Trainer, but Cindy and I have had the privilege and opportunity to work together in so many different, well, in different roles, different opportunities from, I suppose, all walks of life, from kids right through to teenagers, through to government officials. I mean, you know, you name it, we've had the opportunity to work together. And someone asked me the question, Cindy, about what are your thoughts on really engaging with people on a global level? Do you feel that this sort of coaching and training can give us as human beings the ability to connect far better with a global world?
Oh, Philip, who's ever asking these questions, you've got some good ones. Yeah, and I don't know from your audience if they want to do children's etiquette or young adult etiquette or adult etiquette, but the global theme right now, again, ties in with COVID-19. This is the time the world is crying out. You just have to look at, Yannick, I've been watching the Democratic and Republican conventions, even though I'm Canadian. You just have to listen to the polemic going on. Etiquette is just critical. And I think, as we all know, you cannot start teaching children etiquette too young. So one of the things I love about, and the reason, in fact, I did train the trainers, Philip wanted to bring me in, and I said, for sort of corporate style training, presentation, critiquing people, teaching people how to build a business. And I said, you know, before we do that, I'd like to see what it is they're getting. And I told them at the end, gee, I think that was 5 of the happiest days I've spent in my life. It was just this joyous experience, and all the participants loved it. But the real thing is, I love the way you structured the course, the art of conversation, the meet and greet, the netiquette. Netiquette is huge right now. So anyone who's remotely interested in a career change, oh my goodness, this course is giving you not just the qualifications, the accreditations, but it's a game changer. A lot of other things, yeah, I'd like to have that skill, but what am I going to do with it? So whether you're a child, parents need this training, to whether you're a teenager learning how to cope. One last thing I'll say, Philip, and then it looks like you've got critical mass here. Google has been measuring anxiety levels for 16 years. In the last, when COVID-19 started, that's the highest search number in the last 16 years for anxiety, for panic disorders. For me, etiquette starts dealing with all of those questions. Highly professional people are suffering from major anxiety. Parents stuck at home for 6 months they weren't expecting. So I think etiquette fills so many roles for so many different people.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you, Cindy. I tell you what, I think people are maybe sort of getting home from work or thereabouts. I'm going to kick off and welcome everyone officially now. And thank you all very much for making your time so available. And again, to my past students and colleagues who've had the opportunity, and I'd like to say without being arrogant, the privilege of us working together. We've really built up an incredible rapport. And today is really very much about opening to the floor and allowing the participants who've been good enough to sign in on today's webinar to really throw some questions at the past students who are here off their own backs. You know, we sent out a couple of emails, and when we finished our coaching and training, you know, Janica, Carol, Maria, and there are a few other students who are still dialing in, have offered their time to really connect with potential students and people out there who really want to go through life and make a massive difference. And this is what this is all about. The British School of Etiquette was not put together to say, oh, the British way is the correct way and boom, 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 because it's not. Let me let you all into a little secret. We need it more than most countries. So quite frankly, etiquette and manners are about how we connect and engage with people. This is what this organization is about, is bringing cultures together, bringing people together. Let us respect for one another, and let us really understand the opportunity that lies in getting to know one another and making that extra effort, going the extra mile. Someone once asked me a couple of years ago, Philip, give me your sort of intro into what is etiquette and what is manners. And I really love to sort of do that, give it along the following lines, in no particular sort of order or anything that is sort of a structured sentence. It really comprises of quite a few sentences. The first one is, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. That is number one. The other thing is, if we all do a random act of kindness on a daily basis, we may just set the world in the right direction. Number two, go through life with a what can I do for you attitude. How can I help you? What is it that I can do to make your life easier, or how can I assist you to move forward in this world? And at the end of the day, that really for me sums us up. Yes, we can look at etiquette and look at a breakdown, which we do in our coaching and training. We give you the analogy of what is etiquette and what is manners. For me, this is very much about building and growing people. We're not one of those organizations that if you want to know how to address Lord so-and-so, I can give you a book to read. Honestly, that's far easier than me trying to explain that to you. We're not that organization. We're very grassroots. We're an organization that gives you the opportunity to flick the switch and move forward and develop your own life, but not only your own life, but the life of others. You will get exponential results if you follow the route that we have chosen to share our coaching and training with you. We incorporate emotional intelligence, which is a core module within our organization. I truly believe, and I know for a fact that past students will absolutely agree with me, the head and the heart are fully connected. So this is really what the British School of Etiquette is about. And we've had the privilege to engage with, when I say all corners of the earth, it is actually quite frightening of the countries that have somehow found us on the internet, on the World Wide Web. And I printed off today just some of the names, or actually all the people that have made the effort to sign in today. And it is incredible, from India to Ghana to Ecuador to Ireland to Tanzania to London to Milton Keynes to Vietnam. These are just some of the countries that have just shown interest in today's webinar. We've had the privilege to train people from all walks of life, and it really goes without saying that we are there to support every single person that walks through the door at the British School of Etiquette. On every capacity. And again, I don't want to get too ensconced into the school and the makeup, but the one thing is that I'm focused and fastidious about is making sure that A, you get value, B, you get accredited, because we are the only organization in our industry that it has the accreditations and the accolades that we currently hold. We are the market leader in what we do, and we do it with vindication. We are focused, we are passionate, and we all have a why within our organization. So without further ado, I would love, if I may, Janica, because the red has just jumped out at me, is would you please just give us, or give the audience a little bit of an introduction of who you are, where do you stem from? Give no more than 2 or 3 minutes, please, Janica.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I'd like to say a big thank you for inviting me, because this is a challenge in itself, presenting on a webinar. So thank you. But just to introduce myself, I am Janica Lemaitre. I'm from Western Australia, a town called Perth. However, I currently reside in Boston, in Massachusetts, in the United States. My whole background is in luxury industries such as international airlines, hospitality, five-star hotels, high-end retail, and corporate. So I found when I was working in these industries, there was a commonality, a common thread that they all had, and that was people learn to get along really well by being respectful with one another and using etiquette. And so I was able to travel internationally just by doing that. However, I've only really thought about it recently when I worked in the corporate world, and not everybody quite understood how to interact with one another on a professional and polished manner. So I decided that my goal and my absolute calling in life now is to teach people how to be professional in all settings, no matter where you're from and no matter what you do, and that you need to take pride in yourself and how you present yourself. So with that said, last year I decided I'm going to add to my own credentials. I'm going to become a certified trainer, and I did with the Protocol School of Washington. This year, I thought, well, time to do it again, and found the British School of Etiquette, because in all parts of the world, the UK is the #1 for how to in all things etiquette. When I saw, as Philip, as you said, the accreditations and how you really make the milestone and you're the one in the industry, the one organization, I thought this is the right place to sign up to. So with that said, my 3 takeaways, and I've got some good ones, is to use the slides as prompts. When you're creating a slideshow presentation, don't add all the information. All you need is just a couple of bullet points, and that's enough for you to go off and continue your presentation with. The second takeaway I have is to be your brand. At all times, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, you are embodying and that person that you are aiming to teach others to be. And my third is, it's a great network to be involved in. Just earlier, Philip had emailed all of us, actually a few days ago, just emailed all of us that there is an alumni group that we can all be a part of so we can continue with the networking process. However, the 5 ladies that I took my Train the Trainer course with, we've all started generating our own conversation and emailing back and forth and really being cheerleaders for one another with each of our successes. So I do recommend your course, absolutely.
Janica, thank you so much. That's wonderful. Carol, I'm going to head over to you, if I may, please.
Oh, that is a hard act to follow, Janica. I don't know if I can do justice to this. But hello, everyone. Again, I'm so happy to be with you this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you all happen to be. My name's Carol Anderson. I'm from North Carolina in the US, and I'm the founder of Sterling Etiquette. I had the pleasure of training with Philip this past July. I had been looking at a lot of different schools in the UK. My daughter lives in Scotland, and just because, as Janica had pointed out, you do kind of look to the UK as being the beacon of etiquette and manners and that kind of thing. So I did look at, I chose Philip School because of the things that he had to offer. It was much more than introductions and how to hold your fork. It was just encompassing the being kind and just making this part of your life. The 2 modules that he had the takeaways were plentiful, but the 2 modules that stood out for me the most was, one, the emotional intelligence module, how EQ, our feelings, relates to and supports the social intelligence, how we act. That is so important. A lot of us know how to be nice to people, but we don't act nice to people. So learning how to put those together and how they complement each other and how you should be aware of both of them was very, very eye-opening and very interesting. The other module was a training skills module. I am not a teacher by profession. I grew up wanting to and achieving my goal of working in the corporate world. I then became a mom of 2 wonderful daughters and spent the last 30 years being a wife and a mother. And for anyone who said it's a boring job, it's not. So I've had a wonderful time. My girls are living all over the country, all over the world. And that's what really got me started in wanting to teach etiquette as I was, going through the process of raising my girls and interacting with their friends and family. Just seeing how difficult it was for them to interact with adults when they were younger. Now, as I watch them get over, interact with their peers or their elders in a business situation was a lot different. So that brought me to getting the accreditation so that I can help with that. I learned to take the modules I had written and arrange them in ways that would benefit any audience, from young children to adults to professionals. I've even talked to some women in their 80s going, how do I handle this? How can I talk to my doctor to make him understand me? And so it was, again, that respect of going back and forth that you need to learn, that helps in any situation, no matter your age. I had so wanted to be, I'm sure as most of us in our class did, wanted to be in London to take the class with Philip in person. However, we were not able to do that. The virtual classroom setting was a tremendous added benefit, mostly because most of us will be likely utilizing Zoom and Teams and whatever ones I've forgotten out there in the near future for this kind of thing. It also opens up our territory, if you will, to the entire world. So if you have someone that you're not near, that you can't get to a class, but you really want to learn from them, you like their credentials, their manner of doing something, and their modules, you can be anywhere, as you all are today. You're all over and you're still dialing in, so we can spread our joy and our love and our kindness even further, even quicker. So Philip, thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol. That's wonderful. Thank you. Maria, can you hear us?
Yes.
Maria, I'd love you to just give a brief introduction, please, and your experience with the British School of Etiquette.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me to be here with you and Cindy and to meet all these wonderful ladies. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am Maria. I am from Portugal, and I am a flight attendant for 25 years. The last 6 years as a senior cabin crew. And I am accredited by the British School of Etiquette as a trainer and in presentation skills. I attended the train-the-trainer course with Philip and the presentation skills course with Cindy. Well, because I had the need to look for the best, but I mean the best professionals to coach me. And when I became a senior cabin crew, I felt the need to improve myself professionally, because even with 25 years of experience in hospitality, I am still growing and I need to grow more and more. And I must be an example for my crew, for my team, and they have to perceive self-confidence in me. And what gives you more self-confidence than knowing that you are prepared to face any given situation? And this is the power of etiquette, and this is the magic behind what Philip and Cindy teach us. I have to lead a group of people, a team every day with different people every day. And as I said, they have to perceive self-confidence. They have to trust me professionally, I mean, personally as well, but professionally, it's very important that they trust me because they have to know that I know what I'm doing. And so I had to train and I had to improve my etiquette knowledge. I had to improve my hospitality skills, but also I had a wonderful opportunity of working my emotional intelligence. I had the wonderful opportunity to work my posture, my body language, and this is amazing. This was amazing. Also, because I have to brief my team every day. We have a pre-flight briefing when we talk safety, security, commercial procedures, everything. And I have to do it in a very short time. So I need to build rapport in a very short time. So it was wonderful to attend the presentation skills course. It was a great add to my train the trainer course, because I then had the need to work my voice, my timbre, my presence, my body language, and my posture adapted to my presentation. And so all in all, what I would say is that we can't change the world. No, we can't change the world, but we really can show others how to do things right. And I always end my briefing telling my crew, please remember these 3 key points. Be kind, don't judge, and always keep in mind work ethics. This is my 3 key points in my briefing and in my life and in everything. So all in all, this was amazing. And well, in one sentence, the train the trainer course and the presentation skills course was an upgrade to the latest version of myself. This is what I can say from this wonderful experience and from knowing all these wonderful people. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I have to thank the British School of Etiquette for this wonderful opportunity.
Obrigado, Maria. Obrigado. That really, you give me goosebumps. All of you ladies just actually give me goosebumps, because I think I shared with some of you ladies, I know what my purpose in life is, and this is it. This is about, if we can all help one another and make that difference, we can make an impression in the world, and one way or another, we will hopefully start to encourage other people to see the value in what we as human beings are capable of being. Unfortunately, the old cliche, the old adage, monkey see, monkey do. And, for any of you who've read the book, I think it's The Inner Chimp, or the Chimp Paradox, you just have to read a book like that and understand that our brains have not had an update since whenever we landed on this earth, and so we need to, like everything is getting upgrades, we as human beings need to upgrade ourselves on a regular basis. I mean, I look at all of you who I've had the privilege of working with and getting to know, and really getting to know. And the one thing I know for a fact is every single one of you understand the value of investing in yourself, because the moment we invest in ourselves, the more we can do for ourselves and the more we can do for other people. And on that note, I just would love Cindy to add, just give me a little bit of insight, Cindy, into a little bit of your experience of working, not just in the etiquette world, but just, Cindy, you've been privileged, and just for everyone to understand, Cindy comes from a very, very dynamic corporate background, but Cindy had to also on her journey reinvent herself on numerous occasions to get to where she got to. Does that make sense? Am I correct in saying that, Cindy?
You are, Philip. I'm going to give an incredibly short one in the interest of time, but first I have to say, Maria, you were not only such a joy and a pleasure to coach, but you went from this very professional but quite soft-spoken person to the speaking dynamo. And I remember so well when you gave your last presentation, I just thought, wow, she's got it. So I'm thrilled to see you back there looking punchy and confident and thinking, yes, you've carried all the beautiful etiquette that Philip gave you and layered on the presentation. So I'm so proud and impressed by you. Very, very quickly, my background is, yes, I was one of only 4 female managing directors at what was then the world's largest bank. I ran hedge fund sales and equity derivatives, so not necessarily an easy job. It was one of the toughest client bases, and I know a lot of you come from a corporate background. But I'd also had my own TV show like 30 years ago. So I've had many careers. I own my own oil and gas company. So I love constantly reinventing. And exactly as Philip said, the journey keeps evolving. So when COVID-19 happened, the first thing I said to Philip is, your moment has arrived. Etiquette finally earns its place on the stage as a need to have, and it's so true. And again, I keep the team here have already said it, but that 5-day course isn't just a huge blows your own mind for what you can get out of it, but think now in a practical business sense, because when furlough ends at the end of October in the UK, similar in the US, it might have already ended, as Janica said, but in different countries, government support will disappear. Now you're going to have an onslaught of people who need new careers. This is a fabulous new career for those of you who know you have a passion for etiquette. And as I can quite rightly attest, the British School of Etiquette, frankly, is the best in the world, and I believe one of the few truly global etiquette schools. So think not just of the wonderful benefits of teaching people how to respect others, communicate better, but also if it's your goal to make a business out of it, fantastic. Take the 5-day course. That's an absolute necessity for you. You've now learned from the best. You have probably the world's best accreditation. And then start thinking, how do I want to fit myself in a business sense? Because you can go in any direction. You can go etiquette. Business etiquette is exploding. Networking, companies are now, as anyone in the corporate world knows, you're having to network in a corporate online environment. This is a whole new skill set. So netiquette, as Carol mentioned, understanding how to communicate, not just if you're 5 years old, but if you're 80 years old. And there's a lot of people having to get used to virtual training. So all of that, in fact, we created a bespoke course. I love that Maria's here for the presentation when we created another course for the British School of Etiquette and teaching you how to build and grow and scale your business. All these people coming out of furlough have great ideas, but they have no clue how to implement them. So how to write that business plan, how to understand what your KPIs are, how to work your brand. I love Carol's comment on marketing, so true. So we give you a really clear framework and then stay in touch with people to make sure their businesses thrive. Philip, back to you. Philip, you're on mute. Philip, you're on mute.
Yeah, so I didn't want to interrupt you, Cindy. I get very excited when you speak. Thank you. Ladies and gents, what I want to share with you is we had 35 people sign up today. We've got 15 or 16 people, including the guest speakers. And this will obviously go out as a recording. I just would love to take this opportunity to open up the floor to anyone joining us today with any questions that you may have, either at me, at you know, anyone that's been involved, at Janica, at Carol, at Cindy, at Maria. So please feel free to I can unmute you, you can unmute yourself, and please do engage with us. Is there anyone that'd like to ask any questions? No?
Philip, I get people started by giving some of the ones that they were sent into ORSA and just giving the answers, so maybe that stimulates people's thinking, if that makes sense.
Okay. So basically, yeah, how long is the train the trainer course? As you all, I'm sure, picked up, it's 5 days. When we were doing it live, we had the 6-day bolted on, and I would urge every single person who gets involved in Train the Trainer to engage in presentation skills and build and grow your business. So it's a 5-day program, and we start in the afternoon to accommodate the various time zones. Generally start, I think it was 2:30, wasn't it, ladies? It was 2:30 on Zoom until 7:30 in the evening. So that's full 5 days, and it's just boom, 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 back to back. So that's the length of the program. And the certificates that we issue once you've completed the program, you will get your CPD, Continued Professional Development Certificate. You will get the accredited certificate from the British School of Etiquette, as you will get the ILM certificate, which is part of City and Guilds. This, to give you an understanding, we have been vetted by these awarding bodies, by these bodies of academia, and they've accredited our course material in order for us to be able to issue these certificates at an international global level. How does the Zoom course differ from face-to-face training? Unfortunately, the opportunity to connect, as I've had the opportunity to connect with the likes of Maria and Cindy, yes, unfortunately that is lacking. But as Carol rightly said, you know, the Zoom works really, really well. And I think I try and make every effort to make sure that we connect as a group. The groups are small, so this is not sort of umpteen dozen people on the coaching program. There's a small niche group. You get to know one another. We learn from one another. We really put some interesting topics into the conversation and into discussions. So from that point of view, I personally, bar the wonderful opportunity to connect face-to-face, the Zoom coaching, and I was obviously, as you can well imagine, we as an organization, we had to pivot very fast. And fortunately, we've managed to do that. And I was completely concerned about saying, oh, what do we do here? You know, is it going to have the same impact? Are we going to be able to, you know, show that attention to detail? Are we going to be, and it seems to have worked. We've really put every thought and energy and effort into it. We continue to learn. We get feedback from our students, and we obviously end up growing. So as Cindy uses the wonderful, beautiful phrase of feedback, and we feed forward. So that has been really core and key for us. If you miss a session during the coaching, we do record it, so you will get we had one young lady on the recent course that Janica and Carol were privileged to be on, and various things, but we sent out the recordings, and as a result, people can then sit and listen in their own time if they can't make it because of childcare or whatever it might be. So this is that's actually an advantage of having the Zoom coaching, because it is recorded, whereas when we were doing the lives, as in face-to-face, that wasn't a possibility. So like everything in life, you're going to get pros and cons. Do we follow up support and further training? The one thing that I said earlier, I'm absolutely focused and fastidious about making sure that every single one of our students who walk through the door achieve their dreams and make sure that they get to where they want to go. So the door is always open, 100%. My time, and Cindy raps me on the knuckle and says, Philip, your time's very valuable. You've got to stop being so generous. But it is fundamental that we absolutely are there to support every single person. If you've been good enough to engage in the British School of Etiquette, the one core decent thing we can do is absolutely be available to make sure that we continue to add extra value, and hence why we have now set up the alumni platform, which I am hugely excited about. There's going to be an immense amount of value attached to the alumni platform. One of them being that you will be able to connect with 75 to 80 past trainer students on a global platform. And if you can't learn from one another, I'd be absolutely shocked. I'd eat my hat, as the old English expression goes. Not that I ever wear a hat, but that in itself is just one of the most incredible opportunities, because I truly believe through the alumni platform, we can really develop and grow from one another. We can do some incredible work cross borders. We can support one another. We can have lives. You can have guests. You can do so many wonderful things just by connecting with the alumni. The other thing with the alumni platform is, which Cindy and I actually were due to launch this year. We were gonna in June this year is have what we call the Power Hub, which is 4 full days based here out of London, where you would have all been invited to come, obviously at a cost, but 4 days of huge value and content of coaching and further development and training. So we've postponed that, and hopefully, you know, God willing, we get the opportunity to engage in putting something like that together next year. And I would love the opportunity for us to have the privilege of saying, okay, Janica, it's over to you this year, and Janica hosts it in Washington, and then Carol in North Carolina, and then Maria in Portugal. And so that is a vision. That is something that I would love us to be able to do year on year, is have this Power Hub hosted in different parts of the world. And I think that could, and I know for a fact that'll add huge, huge value. I've just dropped my piece of paper. So the next one is, will you be qualified to teach? Yes.
Philip, sorry to interrupt. I just had another idea, because we've got all these fantastic people who don't have their video on. Why not just pop around the new people who have joined and find out what their particular interest in etiquette is, because their questions might turn out to be more interesting than the ones that we've already been sent.
That is true. That is true. Vanessa, you've just popped your video on. How are you?
I am great, and I feel very privileged to be joining you all. And you know, it's a meeting of the minds. I really, really feel happy to be here. I just have one question.
Sure.
And it pertains to any prerequisites, because listening to a couple of your presenters, I realized that they either do have some formal training before, or they've been involved in industries where they would have received some level of training. I've only gone to finish in school, and that was many years ago. So my concern is there any massive prerequisite to be a part of this program?
No, Vanessa, and you know, I love the accent, Trinidad Tobago. It's wonderful. Vanessa, actually, as long as you have got life skills and life experience, you qualify. Because for me, this is really, which I think the people who've come through our programs have really understood. You've got to share your journey and your story to people to really get people to understand that there's no red carpet in this world. There's no plain sailing in this world. So it's about you bringing your background, your life experience, your core skills to the table, and then literally enhancing and throwing yourself into the Train the Trainer program. And I know Cindy would definitely love to add to that.
Actually, I would say the ones who just took the course would be better placed. So Vanessa, first of all, you need 0 qualifications. One of the things I love about Philip's course is, having been in the corporate world, similar to Yannicka, Carol, and Monica, and I'm sure a lot of other people, you can come in and know nothing about etiquette and walk out feeling, and just looking at you, you look like someone who's already graduated from etiquette school, my dear. So you've got a beautiful poise, a look about you. So no, this course requires no pre-qualifications, but I'd rather hand it over to other people who did it and came in with very different ideas about it, and hear from them. But no, you'd be perfectly suited for it.
Thank you, Cindy. Would Janica, Carol, Maria, would you like to answer Vanessa's question in your own words?
I'd love to help answer that one. Hi. I would say the fact that you're even interested is the first step. You can learn this, you will grow, and it will be for yourself. And when you're able to internalize it, you'll just be a sponge, learning, and asking all the right questions. Nothing's a silly question. You will come out of it the other side just sort of a better version of yourself. So absolutely worth doing, no matter what your background is.
Great. It's very reassuring.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Vanessa, do you want to use it in a business context or in a personal context? Because you can absolutely do it for both.
So it will be for both. In fact, in Trinidad, we don't have a lot of presenters like yourselves or schools. There was just actually one woman, and I think there's so much scope for this in Trinidad. And I mean, we were partly British, so we do have a little bit of the mannerisms, and we'd like to remember that, and I'd like to pass that on to people. So I do think either way, both in a corporate and also in personal, you know, to pass it on to my kids and stuff, I think it would just work wonders in Trinidad.
Yeah, you've got a huge opportunity there. And one of the things I love that Philip did is, after he did adult etiquette, he realized, partly because the feedback he got, huge market for what he calls Etiquette, which is children's etiquette, created the program. It was overwhelmingly successful. And I would suggest you've got a huge opportunity, once you learn the material yourself, to share it, create that environment. And as Carol said, there's no reason why it has to just be Trinidad. Now that we're virtual, the world is your oyster. Also for you, I wouldn't just do individuals, entrepreneurs, I would do corporates, and also I would pitch for government contracts, because right now it's starting to happen. Governments are throwing money at people who are out of jobs once furlough's over because of COVID-19, helping them start a new career. So again, you're ideally placed to say, I'm here, I'm Vanessa, fully qualified from the British School of Etiquette, and let me show you how I can help. And you can take that in so many different directions. So I think this is an excellent starting point.
Really excited.
Thank you, Vanessa. Gifty, bonjour, bonsoir. Can you hear me? Gifty?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Bonsoir, how are you?
Bonsoir, bonsoir. Je vais bien, merci.
Yeah.
Well, I live in Paris, but I speak English because I'm originally from Ghana.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure I'm the one you're talking about as being from Ghana. No.
No,
Oh, okay.
Josephine, I don't know where she was tonight, but
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. So I've lived in Paris for over 20 years and I work with UNESCO. And so that is my full-time job, but alongside I also manage African youth
wow.
in the diaspora. And most of the things, most of the time, most of them are like from marginalized families. So and they're like school leavers looking for jobs and things like that. And I had the privilege of having a mother who was really British, and so brought us up with the right etiquette and stuff like that. But unfortunately, when I got here, I realized that most of the young people I'm trying to help in the voluntary association that I have, they really lack these things. So we started seminars with for them on daily basis. I mean, on monthly basis and yearly basis like coming together, and we train them on different things, how to do presentations and all these things. And I just realized that it's a really deep need that they have to be able to integrate into the working world and all that goes. Well, I'm privileged to be working in UN, so I have all kinds of people that I meet in my office. We have like maybe 20 different languages in my small department, 20 different languages, people from all walks of life. So it's been easy. I can say it's been quite easy for me, but trying to help the young ones coming up, it's been very challenging. So I took a one-day course in London like 2 years ago. It was just a one-day course. And then later on, I was really, really looking forward to having a full-time train the trainers, like kind of course, and I fell on yours. So I actually was looking forward to coming in this year to do the full course, but unfortunately with the pandemic and everything, I couldn't make it. But I somehow, yes, I believe in the Zoom and the online, but I also want to be there. So my question will be that, do you think that, of course, when the pandemic is over and everything, are you going to open it up are we going to come back to the normal so that,
Yeah.
I mean, I am sure you're going to do that, but how soon will that be? And so how can we, because from Paris to London, I really don't have a problem
Sure.
crossing the channel to come over. Yeah.
Sure. And you speak beautifully. You've got such an elegant voice and the way you come across. And thank you very much for sharing with us. And this is something that we absolutely. One of the things Cindy alluded to earlier was one of my and the ladies who I've had the privilege of working with. One of my passions, of many passions, but something that I'm very, very, it's close to my heart, is helping the youth, helping teens. We have a program which is a trademark name called Mindset and Manners, and that is one of our incredible courses where we engage with teenagers. Yes, obviously teaching mindset, etiquette, manners, but we focus hugely into the realms of growth mindset and making sure that they understand that this is not just a click of a switch and I behave like this when I need to, and then the switch goes off again. This is very much a lifestyle. This is how we walk through life. And, at the end of the day, we get noticed for the correct reasons and we stand out for the right reasons. So thank you for your lovely introduction, and I love what you're doing. We will obviously at some point resume back to the train the trainer coaching live in London. I can't give you a date at this point, but with now that you're connected to us, and if you just keep, we will obviously be making the announcements, but yes, we will be moving in that direction at some point. I personally would love to keep it on Zoom and have the live coaching, so give people the option.
Gifty,
Great.
I have to say, you're now not only the Parisian rep, but the Ghana rep, since your colleague isn't here. And I also have to say, you should absolutely do the course now. Let me explain the rationale to you. So you've already
Right.
got a ton of information and background in etiquette and in training, and you've already got, it sounds like, some modules written. If you wait till this goes back face to face, it might be in 2021, it might not. Who knows all the restrictions coming on and off. Because I think it was Carol who mentioned, we're going to be delivering things, and I work a lot in the corporate world. Things are going to be delivered virtually for the next 18 to 24 months. Then some face-to-face training will come back. But if you don't have the tools to deliver what it is you want to share online and do it professionally, which is exactly what you're going to get by doing Philip's 5-day train the trainer, that effectively is great. This is the length of the modules. This is the content of the modules. This is what I want to be delivering. You really need to get that in your system, unless, are you already doing a lot of online training right now?
No, not
Yeah.
really, no.
Okay, so this is the big transition I found. A lot of very talented trainers who have been training for 15, 20 years, they got completely caught like rabbits in the headlights when the world went virtual. They didn't understand how to adapt. Because I have a deep background in television, it was very easy for me, and suddenly this is what everybody wanted. So if one of your big goals is to be able to share your skills and etiquette with youth, and I can tell already by your voice, Gifty, you'll also go broader, exactly as Vanessa will, and you should go broader. Don't narrow it. This is step one. Get it under your belt, get the accreditation, start waving that around. I'm accredited by the British School of Etiquette. Then sit down and start creating that business. Because are you going to keep your full-time job, I'm guessing, at the UN? Yeah, or sorry, UNESCO.
Yes, well, it's the same. UNESCO's part
Okay,
of
good.
UN, yeah.
I was in Davos this year at the World Economic Forum, and I thought, what have I just missed there? I hope I didn't misspeak. So definitely don't wait till 2021. The world is going to change so much before then. And as I keep saying, etiquette has found its mark. COVID-19, hideous as it is, has the big benefit that now the world is looking for leadership along the lines of how do we communicate, how do we be better human beings. This is your chance to influence not just 20 people or 100 people, but 2,000 people, however many you can get at a time. So please don't wait. The other thing, I hope I'm not misspeaking, Philip, but in exactly the way that he lets people attend for free an online course, I've seen him very generously say to people, if you've done the course once with me, come for a couple days. So there's no reason why, when he goes back to face, you couldn't jump on the train, come over to London and sit in on a couple days face. Is that fair, Philip, or have I misspoke a little bit?
Yeah, that was something it's something that I always make very clear to all past train the trainer students, is that at no extra cost or anything, I keep the door open. If you want to, we've had Maria's jumped over from Portugal. We've had many students. We had Roberto, who was meant to be here from Mexico on this call, but he runs a wine company, and I think he's got his hands full. But Roberto popped in last year and had the privilege of working with Cindy. So the door's always open. And I just, as Cindy often says, I'm too sort of, I don't jump forward sometimes. And, for me, it's very much about exactly what Cindy said. I think right now, for anyone who's hunkering down and thinking you're going to wait for better days and that sort of thing, now is the time. If you really want to move forward in your life, I really, truly believe, and this is, we're not here to try and push a hard sell. We're here to give you the key skills and tools to be able to not only move your life forward, as Janica said earlier to Vanessa, is that even if you just did it for yourself, I know Maria initially realized that she'd wanted, wasn't doing it for Air Portugal, it was doing it for Maria, and how it's benefited your life in its own capacity. So, for me, and again, to be able to connect with some of the amazing African delegates that we've had come through the door, not only African, but, as far as going over to the other side of the world. And the other thing I want to share, which I haven't shared with everybody, is we are also a global organization. So we have a presence and a partnership in India, Pakistan, Japan, Brazil, soon to be in Bermuda, and soon to be in the greater Philadelphia area in the USA. And, we want to make sure that people are given an opportunity to really stay connected to the British School of Etiquette, to grow themselves and grow the brand, because the vision for me is to make sure that a legacy is left and this becomes the household name throughout the world in what we're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I will consider the online course then.
Give it some thought. There's
Gifty, I love you already, but don't consider it. Just do it, baby. And because it's not just for you in your case, it's absolutely to change the lives of an awful lot of people that need it. Man, make the investment. You won't regret it. It's peanuts when you think of who you're going to be helping. But anyway, great pleasure meeting you, Gifty.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cindy. Thank you, Philip.
There are a few screens that are blank. I would love one of you to pop your video on and then engage with us. I've got Virginia on screen here. Virginia, Dora, Temitopa, Catherine. Would any of you like to? Hello, Temitopa. Hello.
So I attended a finishing school here in Nigeria.
Yes.
And I've been working with them as a facilitator for a while, for some years now. But I've always wanted to have a certification from probably an international school. So I've never really given it much thought, but it's been something that I've been considering a lot recently. And I came upon your school online, and I just thought that, okay, this would be a good place to start, or a good place to, get the certification from, especially because it's British.
Yes.
And the people I trained with are also, they live in the UK. In fact, they lived in the UK. They presently live in the UK, but at some point they relocated to Nigeria and have the finishing school. And, they do a lot of trainings here in Nigeria. So they go back and forth, doing trainings here and there. So I wanted to know the presentation skills that Cindy handles. Is it part of the course, or is it a separate course on its own? And you mentioned that, so secondly, you mentioned that the classes will be from 2:30 to 7:30 p.m.
That is
per
correct.
day. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, that's a long, that's a lot of time online. All right, so please, Cindy, I'd like to.
Let us break it down. First of all, the 2:30 to 5:30, what we do is have kind of two hours with a 15-minute break in between, then a longer break, then you come back. So we don't make you sit there for 5 hours in front of your camera going, Temitopa, why aren't you paying attention? And how do I pronounce your name? Say it for me again.
Temitope.
Temitope. Oh, I love that name, Temitope. So, and I'll practice in the meantime if I have to say it again. With respect to presentation skills, it is a slightly separate course, but what we used to do when it was, as Philip mentioned, it was a 6-day course, and we put presentation skills and how to grow your business as part of that. When COVID-19 happened and everybody became understandably very cost conscious, Philip made the decision. He really wanted to make sure Train the Trainer stayed out there. So we carved it back to 5 days. That is the essential course that you absolutely have to take. And then just for Philip's organization, I don't publish the prices anywhere because I charge very high day rates in corporate world, but just for Philip's group, we do an incredibly reduced $395 for 4 hours of presentation skills training, which is unbelievably value added. But what we like to really have you do is make sure you've done the Train the Trainer, because what we want you to then do is hone out for you, where is it you're going to present, so we can give you that bespoke touch of, okay, so for example, are you going to use etiquette to the extent you have those skills? Are you going to use it again just for you, or it sounds like also in a business sense, yes?
Yes, it's also in a business sense.
Yeah, so exactly. So once you've done Train the Trainer, then we sit down and scope out for you, where are you going to use this? Who are you going to be speaking to? What size are the groups? Quite often people will have one idea in their mind of the sort of people they're going to speak to. In the course of that presentation skills, we find out actually there's at least half a dozen other groups you should be targeting. And then there's different things we're going to highlight when you're learning how to present and get that clarity of message and how do you shape it, all of that stuff. And then the body language as well. So It is separate, but it's at a, as I say, a very, very reduced price simply for Philip's group of Train the Trainer. And I would strongly recommend, if you can only do one course, do Train the Trainer. Then if you think, okay, now I really want that presentation skills, great, add it on top. But don't do that on its own, because you want the foundation, if you like. You want the gravitas of what you're going to learn in etiquette. And it sounds like, Temitope, have you done some etiquette training before, did I understand?
Yes, I have. And I've been facilitating some etiquette courses as well. So I've been,
superb.
especially business etiquette.
Okay, so business etiquette is blowing wide open right now for all the reasons I outlined at the start. Again, one of the biggest benefits, not just the training Philip gives you, but that accreditation you walk away with. So now, whichever organization you walk into, if you say British School of Etiquette accredited, and Philip's taken the time and trouble to get 5 or 6 of them, that's worth gold dust. When I'm coaching in the corporate world, every bank and every company has a different qualification they want. So I'm qualified up the yin yang, and that's partly because they want to see, do you really know your stuff in your field?
Yeah.
Get the British School of Etiquette accreditation, you're already at the top of your game in the field of etiquette, and then under that umbrella, you're doing business etiquette, you're doing networking, all of those things. So that would be my best advice to you.
May I add to, I know there was a bit of concern about doing the Train the Trainer course online. I know for myself and Carol, we were both part of the Train the Trainer course online. I took that as a 5-day webinar with Philip presenting. What I learned is how to structure your webinar, because I was actually afraid. I thought, when I'm starting my business, when I launch this, I only want to do it in person. It's only how I feel comfortable. I've very little practice with Zoom. And here I have the example set before me of how to have people join the conversation, how to structure the slide and then put it online, and what that looks like, and how different it is to presenting in person. So if anything, taking the course online has benefited me with that regard. You learn how to do it yourself as a webinar if you're presenting to other people just by watching Philip.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the great question, Temitope, and thank you both Janik and Cindy for your input there. Are there any other students, are there any other candidates out there who would like to engage in a conversation? I know it's come up at 7 o'clock, and I do know that certain people have got to jump off. So please don't feel you have to stay. My time is your time. I would love to be in a position to, assist you in any way at all. So for whoever needs to jump off, I thank you so much for making the effort to be here this evening or this afternoon in wherever you are, or the morning. But please, I'm here if you need to just bounce any questions or have a chat.
I just want to hear very quickly, Dora, what is your interest in etiquette? And Virginia, what is your interest in etiquette? And Catherine, just give me like a 30-second clip.
Okay, my name's Dora. I think I've spoken to Philip, I think it was sometime last year, because I did a course with Minding Manners a while ago, but I realized that I just realized that it wasn't what I thought it was anyway. So I did quite a lot of research and found out about the British School of Etiquette. And I spoke to Philip sometime, I think it was last year. I wanted to start, but something came up and I had to go back. I actually lived between London and Ghana, so I had to rush back. And anyway, I couldn't do it anyway. But I'm still thinking about it. And, when one that I've forgotten her name, she spoke about waiting to do it in person, because that's the way I'm feeling anyway. I just feel etiquette is more, it's a hands-on thing, it's you get more out of it when you're face to face. But after listening to the other lady, I think I might give it a thought and do this virtual, do it virtually, yeah.
And the other point, Dora, is I agree with you. Everything is better face-to-face. But guess what? For the next 18 months to 24 months, you can either sit on your hands for 2 years, or you can say, how can I teach people how to create those situations and share the knowledge of etiquette online? Because that's what the world is going to do. So you're going to put it, and I'm guessing, again, this is a business context as well as a personal context?
It's both business and personal development, yes.
Wonderful. So
Yeah.
as Janica said, the personal development itself is hugely rewarding, but then really important, because I look at everything from a business point of view as well. Fantastic if I can afford just doing it for personal development. That's wonderful. That's a takeaway in its own. If I also want it to be able to pay for itself, then even better, because guess what? If you're going to get into it as a business, you're not just helping yourself, you're going to be helping an awful lot of other people. So I'm a heavy pusher of getting etiquette in a business context, because everybody's a winner then, not just you. So that's great if that's an option for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dora. And I do recall very much speaking to you. I remember
Yes.
very
Yes.
clearly. And Catherine, thank you very much for your message. I don't know if anyone saw in the personal chat, but Catherine, greatly appreciate your compliments, and please do feel free to reach out, as Catherine's at work, so it's very tough for her to personally verbally engage with us, but your message is greatly appreciated. Is there anyone else before we sign off? Because I know we've gone over the hour and I don't
Virginia.
Yes, hi.
Tell us.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear
Great.
me?
Yeah, we can. Give us a 30-second clip on why you love etiquette and what you're interested in.
Sure. I've been working for multinationals for over 20 years. My big interest has always been international. I've been traveling since I was a young girl. And now I'm really looking to see, as a side career, I think it's like a plan B, something that, you know, a passion for me, which is really etiquette, working with people from all walks of life and all cultures. And I'm in a very, I'm from Montreal, so I'm in a very multi-ethnical city, and this is what I really like. So my question was really, when you give this course, do you give guidelines and material for us to bring back, and eventually if we decide to teach it, is it something that you provide? Do you give us like a framework? I'm very, you know, pragmatical, so that's really my question at this point.
Over to Carol or Janica or Maria, what would you say?
Virginia, yes. Philip and his staff put together a wonderful modules for us. I am a person who loves to have everything in a notebook because I'm busy. So this is the notebook. I've just printed it out. So it's in blue. I decided your company colors are blue. But the modules that came with our class, we did a module on social etiquette, business etiquette, fine dining, afternoon tea. Philip has a wonderful secret for doing the soup course, which I'm not giving away because it's very special. We did the personal image and dress codes, emotional intelligence, training skills, presentation skills. So you get a printout, or they send it to you via email, and you can print that out. So you have that with you, write all over it. Mine is full of notes. I had to print it again so that I could actually read it. But yeah, you do get so much for it to take home, to digest, and to arrange it in the way that you want to use it.
Thanks for that, Carol.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So yeah, Virginia, just to reiterate, everything is about value. We give you lesson plan templates, and we really, with it, once you've engaged with our organization and you're struggling with something, you just book a call, pick up the phone, send a WhatsApp. This is what this is about. I don't ever want our organization to get to that stage where, unfortunately, some organizations get to where you're untouchable, you're unreachable, because this is not what this is about. And just what Cindy was very clear on, more so now than ever before, we need to step up. We need to give that extra special service. We need to be focusing on that attention to detail. We need to be on our A game flat out. There's no opportunity in this world to have a nonchalant, maybe attitude, because whatever we do in this world, make it count. And that is one of my core expressions and sayings. I truly 100% believe that off the back of Train the Trainer, if you can't make a difference in your own life or in the life of others, as I said, I'd eat my hat every day of the week. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Philip. Thank you so much.
So where are you dialing in from, if I may ask?
From Montreal.
Oh, Montreal, you said.
Canada.
And we've
Yes.
we've had 2 or 3 amazing, well, 4 actually amazing Canadians step through the door, who've all gone on to do incredible things. And again, this is the beauty about the organization, is you are then connected to the most dynamic people. And then again, I just, just obviously with you as my wonderful audience this evening, the quality and caliber of people that walk through the door at the British School of Etiquette are exponential. I mean, Cindy's always going and saying, Philip, it's phenomenal. The people that we have the privilege of engaging with are just super extraordinary. Every single one of you are super extraordinary. The fact that you want to take this to another level and share your journey and share your expertise with other people, that's just a wow and a massive boom. Yeah, so
Hello, my fellow Canadian, Virginia. I'm from Calgary, Alberta.
Oh, great.
But I've been in London for 30 years, so I guess I'm starting to be accepted. Not quite yet, but after 30 years, they're starting to warm to me.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, to all of you amazing people, thank you so much for your time and energy and input. To the panelists, to all of you, it's just so wonderful, and it's a joy to be able to engage and connect and just openly chat about the opportunities, the benefits, the journey ahead is just super exciting and extraordinary. And I, for the past students, I just love seeing how your journey is unfolding and how it will continue to unfold. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you very much. Obrigado. Hello, Harley.
Hi, Harley.
Hi.
Thank goodness.
Have a great evening, everybody.
Hi, thank you. Thank you very much.
Everyone. Nice pleasure meeting all of you.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.